My story is that my daughter was doing well in school, cheerleader, had lots of friends, this happy-go-lucky child that everybody just adored, and I thought she was just, the best kid ever. And in 8th grade, I noticed some changes in her behavior as far as being withdrawn. And then by 9th grade, I saw her changing her friends and, getting a little defiant.
Hey guys, what y'all doing? Huh? Where y'all supposed to be?
We just got here.
Well, why you late?
It was traffic outside.
What you doing, man? What is that?
Huh?
Give me that. What is that? Let me see that.
There's nothing.
Let me see that. Give me that, hey, man. Let me see what you got in here. What else is in here?
My books.
Where you get this from? Huh?
My friend gave it to me.
Your friend? Who's your friend now? Huh? Who's your friend?
He don't go here.
Oh, now what you gonna be doing? What you gonna be doing with this?
Nothing.
Why you over there? Was he selling this to you or something? Tell you what, y'all come with me. Let's go. We're going to the office. We'll find out what the problem is. Come on.
In that situation, me personally, growing up, I've never been, one to just take part in any type of drugs or alcohol, and I've never really had an interest in it. I've never been one to be with the crowd or do something because, it might be cool. So just being in that situation, I've been raised to, reject things like that. And I think everybody should not be influenced by just, what their friends do or anything like that.
So in school, if you are under the influence of drugs or if you have drugs on your person, it's an automatic recommendation for a long-term suspension, and you have to go to the Office of Student Conduct and you have to meet with them. One of the things that happens is that you'll be put on random drug screening. So you'd have to go, whenever they send you a letter or give you a phone call, you'd have to go and be screened for drugs. And when you're a kid, everybody finds out. And so other people talk about it, and it could ruin your reputation, and it could affect, whether or not you get into college and all kinds of things as you grow up.
Man, it's crazy. Nice day out here, man. So you got all this stuff on you? For sure. Sound good.
Yeah.
How much did it cost? It was cheap? No. It is what it is.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. Facts.
Who's that behind us?
What's the speed limit?
25, I think. Who's behind us right now? There's a cop car?
Oh God.
Chill.
Well, I'm going this.
We're getting pulled over.
I slowed down.
It's too late.
So just turn in right here.
Pull right here. Listen, where we gonna put this stuff?
What is that cool? What?
In the glove department. All right, everybody act natural.
Hello, ma'am. Can I see your driver's license registration, please?
Sure.
Okay. Where are you coming from?
I'm just left school a little early.
Okay.
Just feeling good.
Okay. All right. Do you have those documents for me yet?
Yeah.
Are you Miss Brubaker?
Yes.
Okay. I'm getting an odor coming from the automobile. What I'm going to ask you both to do is exit the automobile for me. Okay. And until my backup gets here, I'm going to have you actually wait ahead of the vehicle for me. Okay. Brubaker, you know anything about this? All right, Lindsey and Donovan, I appreciate you being cooperative with me, but the reason for the stop was you were speeding, and then when I came up to your automobile, I smelled what I believe to be marijuana. Okay, a search of the vehicle produced the pill bottle, okay, which even pills, along with the marijuana, okay, you can't do that, all right? So what's gonna happen is, because you're both juveniles, all right, I'm not gonna handcuff you, but we're gonna stand by until your parents or guardians get here, all right, and then we'll have to take this further in court. Is there any questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the scenario that you've just witnessed, the driver ended up receiving a charge of possession of marijuana, and your license is also affected on that. And being at the fact of the school grounds where all this took place, she faces further consequence of no longer being able to come back to school and partake in normal school activities. Adding to the scenario that was just seen, we discuss underage. As far as being underage and not having your license, if you are convicted, you are not going to get your license for an additional time. You just can't go to the DMV and get your permit and get your license or go through the driver's ed. It delays that because of the possession charge. Also, when you're driving, you now face the consequence of possibly driving under the influence of drugs, which is a very serious offense, which is the same as a DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol. And that goes for pills, prescription drugs, marijuana, any illegal drugs. And the driver's responsibility as well. The driver in this scenario took the consequence, she understood it, but you've got to know who your passengers are. Your passengers are liable to get you in trouble. Being responsible, being the driver, having that stuff not in your vehicle, all that stuff can be linked together. I've been a police officer for 16 and a half years now. In the last 5 years, I've been in the high school setting. I've seen both drugs on the street level and also on the school level. And it's unfortunate that the growing minds, such as our students, both in middle and high school, think that they know what's best for them, and they turn to things that they shouldn't be reaching out to, and it causes them to make bad decisions. It ends up costing them time out of the classroom, which is super important, ends up hurting the home front, ends up hurting them both financially, and then also to where your freedom is gone. There's a good chance you're going to end up in jail or detention. And seeing it in both the school level and on the street side of things, it's bad news all the way around. You may be the next president, you may be the next superstar, you may be the next Hollywood actor. That stuff all may come back to you. So certainly good choices, staying away from pills, drugs, and doing the right thing.
And basically what she did is she went from drinking and smoking marijuana like 9th grade, 10th grade, to trying heroin. And at 16, she was doing heroin. At that point, I knew enough about heroin addiction that I knew we had a very serious problem, and I knew that we needed some serious help. When you start doing drugs, you stop maturing, so she really was like a child. Mm-hmm. So, and unless you see it, you don't understand how, if you do drugs, you stop learning or maturing or being able to make decisions. We had a family weekend when she came back from the wilderness on Saturday. The minute I saw her, I was like, oh my gosh, she got it. And she came running to me and she goes, I got it in the woods. I know I know how to do it. They sent her home with an agreement that either she listened to us or she would get kicked out of her house, and she was fine with that. She goes, I just want to come home. I will do anything to get my life straight, and if you want to help me, that's great. She was going to take a couple of classes at J. Sargent Reynolds, and she said, no, I want to go full time. No car and no cell phone for that whole semester. She goes, that's fine. I'll do it. I'll do whatever it takes to get my life straight. She transferred into UVA and graduated within 2 years. Graduated UVA in 2012. She moved to 2014. She picked up and moved to California because she got a contract position with Facebook. She is a success story, and we know that, but no matter what we wanted for her, she wanted it more.
I think the first thing is there's disappointment, but then there's a worry of why that they're using, and then there's the challenge of calling, making that phone call, calling home, and I think that's the worst part is when you hear the pain in the parents or grandparents or whoever's voice, and knowing that it's more than just the fact that there's going to be a suspension and stuff like that, but it's you're possibly dealing with addiction and other things, and it's a thing that could lead to something much worse. So the discipline is the least that I really worry about. It's more of
what happens next.
Yeah, what the effects.
They're the whys.
Mm-hmm.
And I would agree with Mr. Hicks. There's a lot of disappointment, and that's rooted in a personal connection that we've created with our students. Disappointment in ourselves, that was there something that we missed that we could have caught, but also a disappointment that we have a responsibility to represent the whole, and the whole not just being the school but our larger community. And when we miss the mark on representing what our best Matoaca looks like, that cuts very deeply on us as administrators when we have to hold accountable. But it's something we're very comfortable with doing because we want our reputation to be strong and steadfast.
So if you have a friend that you suspect is experimenting with substances that they shouldn't at their age or any age, I would say, again, go to a trusted adult or find another peer and confide in them, and then together go to a trusted adult. At any middle school, you can go to your counselor, you can go to a teacher or an administrator if you feel comfortable with them.
My brother, who is deceased, and he died because of his drug addiction, battled it his entire life, from probably early high school or middle school until his death when he was 45 years old. So he was addicted to cocaine. So he died when his children were in middle and high school. And I mean, for me, it's the loss of my brother, but for them, they lost their dad. And that's a difficult thing to have to deal with. It's still, he's been dead for almost 12 years, and it's still something that our family thinks about every single day. My nieces are now at the age where, they're going to get married, and, that's something that every little girl wants to have their dad walk them down the aisle, and he's not going to be there to do that. So, addiction is terrible, and the choices that you make are going to have an impact on your life, even when you're my age and older. So it's just not something to ever do that first time.
Hi, my name is Kiana Fowler, and I'll be attending James Madison University, majoring in psychology. Ever since I was younger, I was always told to stay away from substances and drugs of any kind. By staying away, I've been able to receive A and B honor roll throughout all of my years in school, and also I've been able to stay focused and achieve good grades and all accomplishments that I've set for myself. To everyone watching, make sure that you stay focused in school and attempt to achieve all of your goals.
I'm Amaya Mason. I'm attending Alderson and Broadus for acrobatics and tumbling. Staying away from drugs made me keep my end goal in mind. Something I don't want to do is cheat my body or my goals. I want to go hard and never settle for less. Doing this has made me become a silver medalist at the World's Championship in Florida. To all you athletes, stay away from drugs, stay focused, and your dreams are in your hands.
Kids these days are heavily influenced by what they like to call the culture, in rap, music, you know what I'm saying, actors, anybody who has influence in social media that can get out there. Our young kids follow them. And if they follow them, they're going to do what they do. They want to be like them. And a lot of them are addicted to some type of drug, and showcase that on social media like it's a good thing. Showcase it in music like it's a good thing. And then, like, if it's a good thing, we can do it. It's not going to have any consequences because they are rich and all of this, but really it's not the case. A lot of them are actually going through problems that we don't know because they don't broadcast that on social media. They only broadcast the good part of it and not the bad part. So I think we just have to understand that the culture is not something that we should always follow.
There's a lot of consequences that can follow that, whether it be physical or consequences with the law. It doesn't matter. And I think the biggest thing for all young people to realize is whenever a situation presents itself and you have a choice to make, really think about your future. Because of course you are 13, 14, 15, whatever the age may be, in a moment. But you got to think, how is this going to affect you 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road? If you want to be successful, you just really got to keep that in the back of your mind. And I think all young people should always want to be themselves and make decisions for themselves, not based on what their friends do or other influences like musicians, athletes, just hire people in general, celebrities, actors, it doesn't matter.
Stick to your life plan and be careful who you associate with. Middle school is hard, high school is hard. Heck, life is hard. Life is hard. Life is ups and downs. We don't get through school and get married and live happily ever after, obviously. I mean, life is what you make it. And for middle schoolers, you have plenty of time to drink and have fun when you're of age. You don't have to drink in middle school to be cool. You'll be way cooler if you stay sober and clean and listen to your parents.
I would just encourage all young people, when we're getting curious about substances or lifestyles, to realize and recognize it's okay to live in the moment, but those one moments have thousands of other moments that will be either negatively or positively influenced by how we live our present moments. So just be wise.